So my name is Elliot Kay. I am known as the coach with the hat. That is my brand, that's my official title. And this is my Malaga hat. This stays in Malaga and only wear it when I come to Malaga. So this is literally my Malaga hat. And we bought it when Nami launched Málaga Business Minds, and I've been very privileged to see his journey grow from, actually when we launched it, it was a massive, launch, and then he's kept that being consistent ever since. And he invited me back. I'm doing some training with him on the weekend. He said, do you want to come and talk to the Business Malaga Minds? And my answer is always yes. Because I really love Business Malaga Minds. I love what it stands for, I love the community. It's nice I can come back and go, how's Ali? How are these people? This is the names. Jamie, are you here? I think I heard you. Is Jamie here?
Jamie is here.
There he is. Very funny. I can start to recognize people. It's really nice for me, but also to meet new people. So tonight, what I want to do is give you, normally this is a day program, it's all about your money grouping, it's all about your psychology around money, and I've only got an hour. So what I'm going to do is give you some concepts and just share with you what worked for me, what turned my business around, my whole situation around, from being broke, bankrupt, broken-hearted, all the B's you can think of, busted, bollocked, you name it, done. Yeah, and then to really turn the business now, 3 years later, to be a 6-figure turnover with reaching over 2,000 people in a year and 4 continents. Now, I tell you that not to impress you, but that's where I am. And I did this through what I'm going to share with you today because, I'm not a genius. I'm not particularly stupid. I wasn't born into a particularly blessed family or a particularly bad family. I had my challenges, yes? There's people that had it worse than me, there's people that had it better than me. The big thing is, it's not a competition, right? So I'm going to share with you what happened with me, and all being well, you can take some nuggets and apply that. The range of people I work with is anything from Stephanie's how old? I think she's 12, all the way beyond the 70s. So what I teach applies regardless of age, race, gender, cultural background, language, because it's what I would call pretty much universal truth in that respect. So just a tiny bit more about me. I've written 2 books. One of them's at the back called It's Your Right to Be Wrong.
I have one of them.
Jamie has one of them, you see? I have a raving fan. I love that. Right? He's got that. I have my 3rd one's going to come out next year. We have worked with a variety. I've worked in Sky Television, for those in the UK, Talk, KFC, Pizza Hut. I'm a mentor of the Princess Trust as well on the innovation scheme. And I work with professionals, people who've got a startup, where Nami was when he joined me. Even though Nami had 32 years experience in business already. So he came to me, he's like, Elliot, I've got 32 years of experience. What can you teach me? Well, we had coffee. I was like, why don't you give me a chance to show you? Okay, and he stepped up, and here he is. So I work with a range. I also work with people who generally just want to be better people. It isn't always about launching a business. Some people should not run a business. And I mean that with love. They're just not designed to run a business. They're designed to support the business, or to support people running businesses. Because if we all ran businesses, no one would be around to work in them, right? Would you agree? So not everybody should. And here's the thing, what I learned. So for me, there's a little bit of a story that works, sort of, for me, explains our relationship with money. So if you think a bit like this, our relationship with money is a bit like you walk down the street, and then you kind of end up falling into this hole. And you're a bit like, frustrated, angry, like, why am I here? And you just really, anyone relate to that? Raise your hand. Yeah, if you relate, no one relates to that, no one relates to that. So okay to raise your hands, And now we're in Spain, and it's like, okay, no, I don't. Raise your hands. Good, thank you. Participation. Yes, yeah?
All the way.
Good. Right, you fall into this hole, and you need to use all your strength to really push yourself up. And then on another day, you find yourself walking down the same path, and then you fall into another hole. And you're like, why am I in a hole again? What's going on? And then you go into, but it can't be my fault. Surely it's not my fault, It's by design. It's, it's because of this, it's because of that. We come up with reasons, and we use all our energies to really push ourselves out of the same hole again, right? And then...
I'm there.
Thank you. Yeah? And then you walk through the same path again, and this time you fall into the hole again. Right? Yes? And this time, you're a bit like, this has to be a habit. This is a habit. I can't carry on like this. I can't keep falling into these holes. And you use all your energy to really push yourself out. And so then, you decide to do things differently. Once you hit the pain, once you realize there's another way of doing this, then you invest in your mind, you invest, you commit, you invest, you decide to do things differently. Then you walk around the holes. And then on another day, you just walk down a different path. And that's very much my relationship and how we've grown. But a lot of us are still stuck in the first 3 stages of the holes. We're still stuck in the holes. But it's not our fault, right? So, I was in Australia, just to give you some context, 2010, 2011, I went there, beautiful lady, starting new life, it was great. I remember going off the plane, and I'm in Australia, I have arrived, yeah! Not quite so famous, but yeah! Excited, I got off, I went and met the beautiful girl, I knocked on the door, she came, she wrapped me, big hug, it was awesome. We went dancing that night, Sydney Bridge, all the fireworks. Life could not have been better. But something in my gut was telling me this isn't right. And then the talk came. Who knows the talk? The talk, yes? The talk.
What?
The talk. We need to talk. Yeah, that talk.
She wanted to be your friend?
She was already my friend. She was my girlfriend. Yeah? So she's like, Elliot, we need to talk. I'm like, okay. And I was all excited. Like, what do you want to talk about? I'm Australia, it's all brilliant. She's like, well, Elliot, you know Bob the billionaire? I mean, he was a billionaire. I'm using that as his name. That's not his name. Yeah, what about him? Well, he's offered me this job, and he said that I can't really be with you and work with him. I'm like, what? Well, yeah, he says I'm going to be working, right? I'll be working 18 hours, and I can't really be with you and be with him, and actually right now he meets my needs as a man. So you can imagine that was a bit of a hit. And so I was like, can anything else go wrong today? Here I am, I've packed up everything, I'm in Australia, brilliant. Then I get the phone call that I invested in a property in Wales, in Cardiff, that crashed. So that's £150,000 down the drain, on the train out. And then, literally the next day, I get another phone call from someone I was subcontracting from, and they're like, we're not paying you. I'm like, what do you mean you're not paying me? Like, yep, we're not paying you, you're in Australia, and there's nothing you can do about it. Anyone been there? Yeah, just nod your head like that. If you've been there, good. So that moment, I got out, I was near Coogee Beach. Who's been to Australia here? You know Coogee Beach? I was near Coogee Beach, Golden Bay it's called, and I walked up and I stepped over this fence, and I stood there, and I was like, why me? Why me? Is it because I am less of a man? Is it because I have, I've had abuse in my past because my dad's an alcoholic, and I started to really run through the reasons why me. On that cliff, looking down, with this wind going, and then I realized something really had to change. That hole that I talk about really had to start doing things differently. I had to stop playing the blame game. Whatever reason she did, by the way, we're friends now. Whatever reason she left me, and for whatever reason she did that was a simple reflection of where I was. I don't think she did it in the nicest manner, and it sucked. Big time. That was not a nice feeling, being dumped for a billionaire. However, you can laugh, it's okay. Dumped for a billionaire. But that was my gift. That was my moment to step up and truly embrace, first of all, the gift I had, second of all, my value. Because what I find a lot of us do is elevate this thing called money, and we're like, oh, yes? And it becomes a very external thing from us. And what I learned and what I really invested in is how do I make friends with money? And once I started to do that, things really started to change. that I don't have a Hollywood ending, right? But I do know now, 3 years down the line, that I've got a 6-figure turnover business. I have an incredible fiance who's at the back. This is Emily when we met when you came in. But, you know, but I had to really work inside in my whole relationship, because the thing is with money, it only stays where it's welcome. It's true. Now, while in my mind, I had, yeah, I can be successful, I can be a millionaire, I can make lots of money, my programming had a completely different idea for me. And my programming was, I'm not worthy of money. Money doesn't stick around for people like me. Anyone had that kind of thoughts, those kind of voices? Yeah, be honest? Yeah? And that's what I had. So, you know, when I use the word power, it all stands for something in this story. So for me, P was programming. And I really had to go back and address all of my programming around money. And one of the most powerful things I managed to do was sit down and have a conversation with money. Sound a bit crazy, right? A dialogue. Who here knows of Gestalt? Does anyone know Gestalt is a form of therapy? Has anyone heard of Gestalt? Well, NLP kind of ripped it off and called it conceptual propositions. Does anyone know NLP here? Yeah? So, okay, good. NLP is awesome. I love NLP. That wasn't a thing at NLP. And Gestalt is a great form of therapy. And Gestalt is all about being completely present in the moment with the experience that you're having. So, I went to a mentor, a bit like Nami is in Malaga, and he sat me down and he said, what's your programming around money? And of course my instinctive was, I can make lots of money, I can do it, and then I went to the other extreme, which is the entitlement mindset. I'm owed money. I'm a good person, I help people. You know, I show up, I treat people with respect. I'm owed money. The universe should give me money. Can anyone relate to that one? Yeah? I'm owed this money. And he went, really? Let's see about that. Right? And I was like, seriously? So this is what he did with me. This guy's a strategist that works with £1 million companies in the UK. You wouldn't expect it to come from him, because I expected strategy. He sat me down and said, have a conversation with money. I was like, what? Talk to money. What would you say to money if money was sitting there? I'm open-minded. I'm easygoing. Okay, I'm a coach. I thought this is interesting. And that's when we started to really address the programming. And I sat down, as ridiculous as it sounds, because I know some of you going, that's the most ridiculous thing, or one of the most ridiculous things, talking to an empty chair, pretending money is there. But it's one of the most powerful processes I do. And it really changes people's whole perception around money. Isn't that right, Nami?
Yep.
Nami's done it, a lot of my advanced members have done it, and they do it regularly. Because it's so profound experience. So I sat there, going, I'm money, or resistant, a bit like that. And I'm happy to do it with someone on stage, if someone's happy to volunteer. I'll do it in a minute. And I was like, yeah, money, and then he said, no, talk to money as if they're sitting there, really, have a conversation. And he had these questions. So like, blah, 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 okay, So I started saying, I'm angry with you, I'm pissed off with you, you don't stick around, you've never been around for my dad, you've never been around for my mom, you certainly don't stick around for me, not only that, thank you very much, I just got done for a billionaire because you aren't sticking around for me. Anyone kind of understood that kind of programming language that was coming out? Great. And then he literally said to me, Elliot, how do you expect money to stick around when you're so angry at it? If it was a person, would it stay your friend? And I went, no. He said, if you spoke to your money, like if you spoke to your friends and you just spoke to money, would they be your friends? I was like, no. He goes, so how do you expect it to stick around for you? Because I don't know how many of us are aware and believe in universal laws. Whatever you believe in, I just know it works for me. So if you look at money as a vibration or an energy, right? It's an energy exchange. At the end of the day, money is a piece of paper, right? It's a promise. And it's a promise that I will give you this in exchange for this, right? That's what it is. The old notes used to say, I promise to do. Now, if you're always operating on the same vibration, say, you know, and that's where a lot of people, then you're going to get the same results. Okay? So my vibration, although I was already fairly successful and I was doing well, clearly my vibration around sticking around and keeping money wasn't respectful. Can you relate to that? So I wasn't respecting money now because I just thought money is just money, but it's far more than that. It's an energy, it's an exchange. And if I'm conflicted around money, how do you think that shows up in my business transactions? Whether it's conscious or unconscious. So then when I did that, that was just one part of the process. That's the only part I did with him. But when I did the second part, it really helped me raise my vibration around money, my exchange, my energy, my understanding that if I want money to stick around, I need to start respecting it. I need to start showing it love. A bit like a seed. The more you plant it, the more it grows. The more you love it, the more it grows. And that's what I started to do. I then developed the process further. I then stepped into being money, and money then responded to Elliot. Guess what money had to say to me? Let's have some shout-outs. What do you think money said to me? James, what do you think he said? Or she said?
I think she was speechless.
She wasn't. She had a lot to say.
She was impressed.
She was impressed. That'd be nice. No? Now I'm aware these different parts of ourselves, but when I look back, I was like, where did that just come from? What else? What do you think money had to say back to me when after I was like all this pointy?
Take me.
Huh?
Take me.
Take me. Excellent. Didn't even have to buy a drink. That's what she said. I don't know why we decided money's female, but let's just go with it for now. What else do you think she said?
Go somewhere else.
Go somewhere else. You know what money said to me? She said, or he said, I've been here all along. You just have to decide to keep me and want me to tap into me. There's $3 trillion circulating. I didn't even know I knew this fact. A day. Do you think I discriminate who I show up for? I was like, what is going on? Where is this coming from? And she said, I've been here for you all along. All you need to learn to do is respect me a bit. Treat me nicely. Okay. As profound as that was, I know it sounds a bit wacky. I started and embarked on a journey of respecting money, keeping it around, not rushing to spend it, really understanding that the time, the effort, the sweat and tears that went into it. It wasn't an overnight fix. It wasn't like a Hollywood, oh my God, I've had this conversation. Yay, everything's brilliant now. Still had to do hard work. Yes? Still had to invest, still had to think strategically. Still had to continue raising my vibration, my energy, how I understand money. And the second part of the power comes to owning my value. I truly had to understand my own value. Having worked with over 2,000 people, this year I can pretty much guarantee in this room, not enough people are valuing themselves to what you could be valuing themselves. A lot of people are quick to undervalue what they can do. And that's concerning. Because we all have a gift, we all have something to offer, but because of our vibration mindset, we undervalue what we can give. Is that resonating with some of you? And this isn't, again, I don't offer quick fixes. My notion is improvement versus cure. So my whole thing is about giving you daily things or monthly things to improve. Because we don't work on the whole 6 months and you'll be brilliant and everything will be great. We're like, what are the steps they're getting you there? And one of them is truly knowing your value. But because of our programming, and it could be whatever it is, it's all so different for so many people. I've worked with people who have come out of prison with this, and I've worked with people who are multi-billionaires. And do you think they don't have issues? Although they have a lot of money, you don't think they have issues around their value? One guy was so insecure, I was like, how do you make this money? He goes, that's the only way I know I'm important. I'm like, what happens when the money goes away? He said, I'll probably kill myself. this guy made a lot of money. So we worked with him about finding different ways to be important. And he did charity work. It wasn't like he kept it for himself, but it was all from a place of validation. So his energy around it was different. Again, it was all very scarcity driven. What if it goes away every day? Has everyone seen the Will Smith interview with Oprah with his family? Has anyone seen that? Watch it. Will Smith on Oprah with his family. Yeah? I write down Will Smith on Oprah with the family, yeah? He says he goes to bed every night with the same mindset that when he was broke. Because that's what drives him. He's done okay. Although I don't agree that's the right energy to come from, you can see in that interview how well he instills good value in his children. And he basically says, listen, when his kids are coming to him, he goes, listen, y'all broke. We're the one with money. So you better behave yourself. Right? So that's very much the attitude. And I think what he's really done is worked on the vibration. And do you think he knows his value? But I know for a lot of people that's a really conflicting thing. But that's also where I was. I didn't know my value. I didn't know myself, my value as a boyfriend, as a partner. I didn't know my value as a businessman. And once I started to own my value, really own my value, things changed. Now I know for some of you, all this is not rocket science. It is very simple. When I went to see Derry, the guy I was telling you about who's standing there, he said to me, what I'm going to teach you isn't rocket science. The chances are you know this, but you're not living it. And again, this is the guy who does strategy. So programming, he goes, you don't own your value. And I see this all the time. I say I work with various ages, and I'm like, what do you think you're worth? And people will give the smallest number most of the time, or too much. So yes, I would love to be very wealthy, because I can do a lot more good in the world, I can give back a lot more. But most people go crazy when you ask, how much is, I think, I did it with Sarah, I don't know if I did it with Nami, but I always go to some people I start to work with, I'm like, how much do you think you're worth? Or how much do you think you need to get going? And they're like, oh, I need about 10 million. Okay, what do you need 10 million for? Well, I need this, I need that, I need that, I need that. I'm like, it's all very well you want 10 million, but you're overestimating what you can do in a year and underestimating what you can do in 5. Then we break it down, and then they realize they can probably live quite nicely on £10,000 a month and still have the lifestyle there. But unless you own your value, someone will step in and own it for you. And that's what's happened every step up until that moment on the cliff. I was giving away my value too much. So you following? Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah? So the programming we have, owning our value. Now, who thinks being rich or wealthy is a bit of a naughty or dirty word? Does anyone here think, oh, being rich is bad or bad things happen to rich? Anyone? I don't. Be honest. Please be honest. Huh? You don't. Now, there's no right or wrong here, and that's just where you are, but then we have to address the program. If you think being rich, being wealthy is a bad thing, then we need to assess why you would think that. Because are there plenty of wealthy people in the world that are doing some great stuff? Yes or no?
Yes.
There are. Now, are there pretty wealthy people that are not doing some great stuff? Yes or no?
Yes.
There are. So does that mean that it's the money that does that? Or does it just magnify more of the person that they are? So really looking at wealth creation and ways that works for you. So some people need to be massively wealthy. Some people are, 100k, 200k, and that's enough. For some people it's 50k. But the important thing is around your values. What do you value the most, and how can you support the lifestyle through building wealth? Yeah? You look very simple. And I know money really brings up people's stuff.
Might have to slow down a little bit.
Am I going
with
too
the
fast?
English. Is everybody catching everything Elliot's saying?
Yeah.
Yes? Great. Keep
If I'm
going.
going too fast, please tell me. Also, because as I say, normally I spread this out over a whole day. So I'm condensing a whole day.
We are hypnotized by you.
Hypnotized. Are you sure?
No.
Then you're not hypnotized. I haven't done anything hypnotic. And one of the equations is, you know, there's, and by the way, if I misspell, just forgive me, I'm dyslexic, I don't always spell properly, but I hope you'll get the gist. So, excuses, right? Reasons, or results. Right? Now, the results directly give us feedback. Right? But what happens when we get that feedback? That's a good question. Huh?
You justify it.
We justify it. We go back to reasons. Now, that's not to say that you didn't take action, it didn't work out. This isn't about judging any of your journey so far, but we go back to reasons, right? But all it is giving us feedback as to where we are and what we can do about it often, but we close down. Because we take all our upbringing, our experience, our cultural heritage, our perceived outcome, and we judge ourselves, and then it collapses. And then we go back to reasons and excuses. When I eliminated excuses and reasons, my results improved. Now, did they suddenly explode? No, they didn't, because it takes time to raise your vibration, to raise your relationship with energy. However, someone who's got issues around money and it's not their friend, I promise you it's in the excuses or reasons why it's not around. Yeah? And there's no right or wrong here, no good or bad, it's just a reflective thing. Once we eliminate that and you start to look at your results, you get the feedback, then you're able to take different actions. Making sense? But then most people are stuck in this loop. A lot of people are stuck in the why me? Why me? I don't deserve it, I'm not good enough. When we go back to owning your value. Everyone here simply can be doing and making friends their money continuously, making money their friends continuously. That's it. But it really brings up people's stuff. When I do a little experiential training, I don't normally talk a lot, believe it or not. And whenever I want to magnify or really bring up people's stuff, I introduce money to it. Even if it's £20 and you make it slightly competitive. So I do a whole day on financial training. And then they do a process where they have to pay £20 to be a part of it. Do you know how quickly the energy shifts in the room? Yeah, it really does. It goes from this loving, supportive, coachy environment, 40, 50 entrepreneurs all together, to boom, I want to win that money. Because if you want to magnify someone's belief system, introduce money to the equation. It's one of the most conflicting things we have. I don't have a magic pill. I'm not in the matrix. I can't give you a truth pill and everything will be okay. But this is seriously what worked for me. I looked at my programming, I looked at my value, I looked at how I can build wealth in a way to be of service, that adds value, and will leave impact. Now, this isn't about legacy, that's not what it's about for me. Legacy would be nice. It's about how can I live the life I want to live, give Emily the life she wants to live, and beyond that. So for me, those of you who heard me speak with me, to me it's all about creating the inner peace foundation, which is what I stand for, really. Everything I do is about dealing with conflict. Who would say we're quite conflicted these days in the world? Would you say there's a conflict going on? Yeah? Would you say, like, generally as a human race, we seem to be a real